Good morning, everyone. I'm Catherine Ross with TheStreet. I'm here on the floor of the NYSE with Jim Cramer. Jim, you know one of my passions is financial literacy, and so I think that today I really want to focus on your Nvidia call, which, if you haven't already seen, Jim called at his Investors Bootcamp back in October, and the video can be found in the Facebook comments and live on our site. Now, one of the things that I want to ask you about is how did you make that call?
Okay, this is when it was actually a very tense moment in the teaching because we're very interactive. And someone said, look, Nvidia, you love it, and then you downgraded it for action alerts and sold it. How do you justify that? And I said, well, I don't feel I thought it was too high, and he came right back, and I said, okay, look, they're going to miss the quarter. Now, I put together a pastiche of what I thought where they might not understand exactly where their cards were, whether they'd be used for crypto. They said that it was almost finished. It was really going to be zero. It turned out to be just 500 million. I listened very closely what Lisa Su's been saying to people about possibilities of some problems just in terms of competition, but also data center. I do a lot of work on whether there was slowdown in data center by looking at the REITs that are data center oriented, and I put together a pastiche which told me that some of the end markets were slowing. And then most importantly also, I have a friend who's maybe one of the largest buyers of gaming software. He's setting up a nationwide gaming boot camps basically so that mothers and fathers can put their kids in at an early age so that they might, because he believes that the NCAA is going to offer scholarships. And there's nothing written for or nothing much to speak of written for their new chip. And so my friend was telling me, my friend was telling me, listen, you like Nvidia, that's great, but be careful because there will be a gap between now and maturing. But the financial literacy part of this is that it had gone up a lot. We were up a lot. And bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered, and I felt like we were being pigs. And also, these are just pieces of paper in the end. Yes, I love Nvidia, the company. Jensen Huang's terrific. Colette Kress is a dynamite CFO. But you can't fall in love with stocks. And the stock had moved up and was priced for perfection. And there was just no way that I could feel that with data center possibly troubled, and with AMD doing so well and yet still having some trouble, no way with gaming versus crypto. See, they didn't really know where the cards go, whether the cards go to crypto. I don't believe in crypto anymore because people aren't mining. And it turned out that far more of their chips, 500 million worth of their chips, $500 million, it looks like they thought it was going to go into gaming, it went into crypto. And if you look at Electronic Arts, and if you look at Activision Blizzard, you can make a case that gaming's slowing. Now, I don't think it is, but people are making that case. And now if you're listening to Nvidia, you do have to wonder, you have to question how fast gaming's growing.
What do you think that investors should be doing right now? And
with Nvidia?
With Nvidia.
They're talking about that there's going to be 2 quarters before they work through the inventory. So, you can't ever, I've learned in my career that you can never see through inventory. So an inventory correction, whether it be for plywood, whether it be for uncoated free sheet paper, whether it be for polyethylene, whether it be for chips, for flash, you can't look through it. I mean, take a look at Western Digital. I mean, the stock's been cut in half. Take a look at Micron. The stock's been cut in half because people are trying to look through the flash inventory correction. You can't. And again, I'm not a visionary. I'm a person who used to look through inventories. See, I've learned, and that's one of the things I try to teach in the club. I try to give you my wisdom. It's not like, let me tell you how smart I am. It's let me tell you how dumb I am. Many times I try to look through inventory corrections, whether it be for Hammermill paper or whether it be for Visteon. These don't exist. And Visteon. And what I done it, international paper, I did it. You can't. And so if you go on Applied Materials, they initially felt that there was going to be very shallow correction. Now they're saying it's a deeper correction. Well, I mean, again, you look through, if you go through the great comments from the great Rick Hill when he was running at Novellus, you realize you cannot look through these things and you're going to lose money. So that's what I've learned. I'm trying to impart that. I'm trying to impart the mistakes I've made, not about how smart I am. And that's what the club's about. I made many mistakes about inventory correction. I just don't want others to do it. And there's an inventory correction that's going to take a long time for Nvidia.
And if there's one thing my mom taught me, it's that making mistakes is the best way to become a teacher.
Well, it's what I'm trying to tell the Fed. I gave the Fed my mommy's phone number so that if they were mad at me, they could call my mommy. I'll give it to 215 Adams 3 5918. I'm tired of it. Catherine, I've seen more than they have. I remember my late grandmother saying that to me. That she had seen more than I had. And I thought I was smart. She was wise. And look, they're very smart. And I think that I've had the benefit of making mistakes. And I'm wiser and I have better sources. The problem in life is that I know, like I said, Cramer won, Fed nothing. But I'm looking at the transcript of how they made fun of me. And I just say, wow, they didn't name, but that was 10 years ago. Maybe I was younger and seen less, but they should never have made fun of me. Now, a couple of them apologized. And Tim Geithner said I got it right. I'm not saying this to say how smart I am. I'm saying it to say, okay, look, the same thing that I saw, though the credits are much better other than GE, the same thing I saw then in terms of the not doing enough homework. I mean, look, I do a huge amount of homework. Now, like last night, my wife was saying, why are you still up? Why are you still up? And I said, because I haven't finished. And and they can't, by the way, you can't let the children do it, the 27-year-olds, because they're not wise enough. It's not fun, okay? It's not fun, and I don't like to do it. My wife says, why are you setting the alarm at 3:30? I said, well, because I haven't done the work. You have to do the homework. There was a great Philadelphia Eagle was talking about how some people weren't watching the films. The homework is the film. In football, if you don't watch the film, you don't know the tendencies. Here, you don't know the tendencies until you read the conference calls. It is a huge drag. Stephanie Link and I often do it. She gets up at the same time I do, 3:50. We email back and forth, 3:45. And if you don't read the Visa call or the Verizon call or the MasterCard call, you don't really get a sense. And the calls in the last 2 weeks have been quite bad. And you could say, well, that's anecdotal. I would say, well, given the hundreds that I read, it's not. It's empirical. So my homework's better than theirs. Now, I could easily say, I think that they're off base and they're ill-advised, but they're not going to listen to me unless I say my homework's better. Because I need them to say that arrogant son of a bitch, but I got to look at it. Because if I don't say that, what happens is they say, all right, well, he did. I disagree with him. But they can't disagree with facts. The facts can't fit their facts. The facts don't fit their narrative. Right? They decided that you can't let the facts get in the way of the robust economy. And whatever, maybe that's ideological, maybe it's political, but I don't have any, I have no axe to grind other than say I listen to the calls, and I want them to listen to the calls.
So, speaking of listening to the calls, both of us were listening to the Nvidia call.
That was so hard.
It was so hard, and one of the things
credibility's so shot now.
But one of the things that I found really interesting was Jensen Huang, the CEO, said Moore's Law 9 times throughout the call.
Was that how much it was?
9 times.
And he said the death of Moore's Law. He said the end of Moore's Law.
The end of Moore's Law, yeah.
And that's what he's saying is semiconductors aren't as good as the cards, the GPUs that he makes. I thought it was very defensive. Now,
I thought so too.
I revere Jensen Huang, but it was very defensive to keep mentioning that, and he obviously was caught unawares. Some people think he lied. I'm going to take that off the table. But he was caught unawares, so he just continually mentioned the superior nature of his product. And that would be like if you're on with Coke and Pepsi. Pepsi has a shortfall. They say, listen, we taste better than Coke. We taste better than Coke. We taste better than Coke. That doesn't wash, okay? And that was a shame. That, again, is why they're in the penalty box. It was a very bad conference call. Nordstrom was bad. Williams-Sonoma was bad. Applied Materials was terrible. And then Nvidia was the worst. But look, there were a couple times in it where he said, listen, I got surprised. I think they did. I guess there are probably people out there who don't believe that it's possible that they don't know where their cards go to, that whether they go to gamers, whether they go to cryptomaniacs, but they got it completely wrong. And one of the reasons why we got people out, and I said to teach them get out, was because I felt that they had the wrong level of conviction themselves. They had such, in the conference call, the previous one, they had such conviction that they had cleaned out the inventory. But they're $500 million in inventory. That's why they're going to be in the penalty box for a long time. And I feel like club members got, we gave club members a very good education, which concluded in thinking that Nvidia is going to miss the quarter.
And we're going to talk more about that education on the Action Alerts call. I just want to end with an Ask Jim that I think is really important, and that is any investor that's still in Nvidia, what is their move?
Well, you're just going to have to wait. If you're in it, it'd probably be 3-4 quarters, and I don't think most people have that patience. I mean, it's kind of like I like to analogize to football because a lot of people follow it, where it's wait till next year, guys. But the problem is this, you don't get the draft first because there is no draft.
All right, Jim, thank you so much for your insight. I've really enjoyed this video,
Thank you.
I think that we're going to talk even more about financial literacy on our Action Alerts Plus video. Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you next week. I'm Catherine Ross with TheStreet. Have a great day.